whoever you are. Whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, wanderer, worshipper, ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, whoever you are, come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, even if you've been waiting for a miracle to come. Just come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Just come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Shuva, yet again come. Shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, Shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, Shuva, 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 yet again whoever you are, whoever you are. Whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are, come, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, even if you've been waiting for a miracle to come. Just come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Come, just come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are.
Shuva, 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 yet again come. Shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, shuva, 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 yet again
Whoever you are, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, Whoever you are, whoever you are. Whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come, wanderer, worshipper, ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come. Whoever you are, come, come, come. Even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times, come. Even if you've been waiting for a miracle to come, just come. Whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, just come, come, whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come. Shuva, shuva, shuva. Shuva, yet again come. Shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, Shuva, 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 yet again come. Shuva,
Shabbat Shalom to everyone who's here on this beautiful Shabbat evening. Shabbat Shalom to our friends on the stream. We love you, we miss you. You're part of us, we're part of you. I just want to, because we have this amazing amphitheater and we have an amazing Torah portion that starts with the word Adel, heal, but akev, which also means like because or if, but it also means heal. I'm going to just remind people that this is a shoes optional space. And especially in the, in Deuteronomy, what Moses is doing with the people is telling them and assuring them that there's a path, that there's a way. And in fact, Jewish wisdom and Jewish law is called halakha, which means to walk. And walking requires that our feet are on the ground. And when our feet are touching the ground, sometimes we can feel more grounded, more balanced, more connected and stable. And so I want to invite us to take off our shoes or just pay attention to wherever you are, maybe even connecting your feet to whatever ground is underneath you if you're at home. And I'm going to do it here.
Okay, that's it.
See it?
What is that?
And
Are you out? Yeah, you are.
in particular, I just want to say, we're in for a little bit of a roller coaster right now. And maybe having some visceral experiences of groundedness, of touching our feet to the ground might be healthful. And our canine guests doing his job. Oh, there's another canine guest, that's why. It wasn't about us at all. So in that spirit, we're actually going to get started. It's so nice to see you, Susan and Toby. Mwah. Love you. All right, Sethi.
So our Shabbat service is made up of, I'm going to talk a little bit more, sorry about that. But our Shabbat service is made up of several different pieces, some given to us by our mystics and some by our sages. And very often, or traditionally, after we light our Shabbat candles, we begin the welcoming of Shabbat with Kaballat Shabbat. And it's kind of a period of time where Shabbat is just kicking in. But every so often, we open our service, when the moment is right, we open our service with some of the Psalms from Kaballat Shabbat. And we're going to do that tonight with Ya'aloz Sadai, which is from Psalm 96, which you can find on the very, very bottom of page 13. You'll find Ya'aloz Sadai, and the words are, "Let the field and all that is in it exult. Then all the trees of the woods shall sing for joy."
4 lines up from the bottom.
יעלו שדי, וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי. איי 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 יעלו שדי, וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי. איי 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 איי, אז ירננו כל עצי, אז ירננו כל עצי, אז ירננו כל עצי, אז ירננו כל עצי, יעלו שדי, וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי. איי 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 יעלו שדי, וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי. איי 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 איי.
We join now on page 2, where you'll find the blessing of the Sabbath lights. It's an honor to invite Judy Kaplan. Where'd you go? There she is, to lead us with a short story prior to lighting them.
A young scholar was disturbed by the prevalence of overpowering darkness in the world, and he sought the advice of his rabbi. At first, the rabbi suggested that he take a broom and try an experiment in a nearby cellar of sweeping together the darkness which filled the room. The bewildered scholar undertook this curious task, but was unsuccessful. The rabbi then suggested that he take a stick and beat vigorously at the darkness to drive it out. When this too failed, the rabbi said, "My son, one can readily overwhelm the challenge of darkness by simply lighting a candle."
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lechad mikner shel
So we're going to allow the angels of Shabbat to guide us with peace in our hearts into the realm of Shabbat together.
Page 24.
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Please rise, page 26.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich machutei.
בחייכון ויומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב
V'meru.
אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם עלה מעלמיה יתברך
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh ויתהלל שמי דקודשא לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה
תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירה בעלמא
ויאמרו
Amen. Feel your feet on the ground as you're called to worship.
Baruch Hu
Baruch Hu
et Adonai
et Adonai
Hamevorach
Hamevorach
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai
Hamevorach
Hamevorach
Leolam
Leolam
Vaed
Baruch et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Vaed.
Page 30.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Boreyom valayla, kolel or mipnei choshech, kolel or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
On page 32.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, ahavat Torah u'mitzvot, chokim u'mishpatim, otanu limadta. אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 34.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'v'lechtecha v'derech, u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kiddoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lechem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet.
A poem not in your books. Run to them. I ran so fast I couldn't look over my shoulder. I ran so fast I didn't feel my legs. I ran so fast, the child clinging to my hip thought we like birds were flying. I ran so fast, I outran my fear. When we reached the sea, I just kept running. We were running for our lives and nothing more than what we could carry on our back. We left our homes, our communities, everything we knew, always the stranger. That was long ago, but you must not forget. When you see the refugee washed ashore on rafts through waters that did not part, remember me, your ancestor, a slave. Remember the people of your tribe. When you see the refugee children hungry for the mothers and fathers who did not survive, looking for the sky for manna that did not fall, remember where you came from. The Eternal freed us from Egypt by a mighty hand, by an outstretched arm. When you see the refugee today, remember this. They are the strangers, and you are free. The hands of free people are mighty, and yours, the outstretched arms. Run to them.
I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha, neder b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osef eleh, nora tehilot, osef eleh. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the.
Did you know that Fish is starting a major concert this week? Hashkivenu 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamideinu shomreinu lechaim.
Spread the shelter of your peace over us.
Spread the shelter of your peace over us.
Guide us with wisdom.
Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamideinu shomreinu lechaim.
Save us for the sake of your name.
Save us for the sake of your name.
Shield us from hatred, sorrow.
Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamideinu shomreinu lechaim.
L'chaim, to life.
Lechaim. Lechaim.
On page 44, with joy and lots of it.
Yismechu b'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei Mekadesh Shvi Shabbat Kulam Yispehu V'yitanku mitu Becha Shabbat Yismechu B'malechutecha Shomrei 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 Shabbat V'korei oneg Shabbat Yismechu B'malechutecha Shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashu Shabbat Chemdan yamim oto karata Shabbat Yismechu B'malechutecha Shomrei Shomrei שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת ישמחו במלאכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת ישמחו במלאכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת ישמחו במלאכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
Page 46.
Na 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 Adonai na 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 Sfatai Tiftach na 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 Ufi Agid Tehilatecha na 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 Adonai na 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 Sfatai Tiftach na 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 Ufi Agid Tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לישני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומיתו מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You may be seated, and we join together at the top of 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Ratzei Adonai Eloheinu
For our prayer of gratitude, I'm going to read Norman Fisher's translation of Psalm 139. You have searched me inside and out with your beam. You have known me. You know my sitting down and my rising up. You think my thoughts before they arrive in my mind. You are my walking. You are my lying down. All my living is your knowing. Even before there's a word on my tongue, you speak it. You're behind me and before me. Your hand touches me wherever I am. And my knowing this is impossible, for it is indecipherably sweet, too exalted for my heart to grasp, inconceivable. Where could I go to be apart from you? To what place flee from your presence? If I should ascend to heaven, you're there. And if I am cast down to the bottom world, you're there too. If I should fly up with the wings of the morning, if I should dwell in the depths of the sea, even there I'd feel your touch, your grip. If I said, I'll pull up the darkness, cover all the world's light with the dark, even that darkness wouldn't be dark, but would be bright as clear noon, because in you, darkness and light are one. You guided me into this world, placed me in the waters of my mother's womb, and I am grateful to be so wonderfully, so terribly made. We join in our prayer for peace. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon v'chol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'neinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
At this time in our service, we open our hearts and our minds to think about all of those who are in need of healing, those broken in mind or body or spirit, offering them our prayers for wholeness, for peace, for renewal. At this time, we think of, from our congregational families, Chris Argall, Betty Cohen, Amy Cooper, Shar DeGrave, Elizabeth Draper, Harvey and Susan Filer, Dean Gavney, Andrew Fisher, Jacob and Roger Gluckman, Gabby Goldberg, Stuart Goodman, Ramesh Gupta, Bert Horowitz, Laurel and Wally Jonas, Karen Katz, Dick Kelvin, Jean Nofel, Chris Kuntz, Michael Lidekin, Andre Radford, Jim Rudisil, Deborah Sanders, Julie Sherman, Shoshana Slatke, Matthew Treehub, Bob Ward, Janet Weil, and all the names listed in the chat by our friends at home, and if there are names that you would like to add. The words are El Na Rafana La, Rafana Lanu. They come from Torah. It means please God heal her, and then added to that heal us, and everything else is call and response. So you should be able to participate. El Na Rafana La, Rafana Lanu.
El na rifana la, rifana lanu.
Again.
El na rifana la, rifana lanu. Dear God of our ancestors,
Dear God of our ancestors,
help us renew our faith.
help us renew our faith.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Bring peace to all our days.
Bring peace to all our days.
El na rifana la, rifana lanu. El na rifana la, rifana lanu. Restore strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our mind.
Help clarify our mind.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Rejuvenate our lives.
Rejuvenate our
El na rifana la, rifana lanu. El na rifana la, rifana lanu. Thank you for all these blessings.
Thank you for all these blessings.
Throughout our days and nights,
Throughout our days and nights.
we celebrate the journey.
We celebrate the journey.
This precious gift of life.
This precious gift of life.
El na rifana la, rifana lanu. El na rifana la, rifana lanu. El na rifana la, rifana lanu. Please take a moment of silence. יהיו לרצון עם רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Yehiyu liratzon imre fi vehegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri vegoali tzuri vegoali.
I'm very grateful to turn the pulpit to Rana Davis, who gave a beautiful Dvar Torah just a couple of weeks ago at the Sisterhood installation and luncheon, and was so gracious to accept an invitation to do another one so soon afterwards. And here it is, all yours.
I'd like to invite you to look into the eyes of someone sitting near you. If you're uncomfortable, and it doesn't look like it, then imagine looking into the eyes of someone you know, perhaps someone you love, someone who is not sitting in our sanctuary tonight. What is this like for you? What is it like to look into the eyes of another person? What do you see? What arises for you? What is it like to risk connection and authenticity, to touch another person in a way that transcends the need to find similarities in education, ethnicity, spiritual practice, socioeconomic status, vocation, or any of the other number of characteristics by which we define and limit and label ourselves and one another? What is it like to imagine touching the divine spark in another person? Notice what arises for you for when you connect with another soul. See if you can't find a way to hold on to the sensation, perhaps give it a name, or find a place in your body, mind, or spirit to shelter this connection with another human being. Every human connection provides the opportunity to see the divine in another person, or to turn away and blind yourself to what is sacred in all of life. If you choose to turn toward another soul to seek the divine light in the stranger, then this, my beautiful family, is where your transformation begins. Rabbi Mark Belgrad writes that God gives us freedom, but we're not always open to receive it. When we can offer unconditional love to another person, we are acting, he says, in imitation of God and doing God's work. I suggest that we are also acting in the image of God, and in doing so, we are drawn infinitely closer to God, to a place in which we are no longer confined by judgment, fear and condemnation. This is the place from which you begin your journey toward a not too distant time in which your heart cracks wide open and you stand before God face to face, your disguises and pretense no longer hiding you from the truth of all that you are, heart, mind, and spirit. The truth is, we are imperfect. We make mistakes. We worship golden idols. We condemn the stranger. We ridicule other nations. We lie when the truth is uncomfortable. We hurt those we profess to love. We deny our fears and defend ourselves in anger. We forget that we are stewards for our planet. We become lazy. God did not ask the people of Israel for perfection. God asks only that we honor our covenant with love and pure intention. In this week's Parsha, Moses spoke to the Israelites and said, "It is not because of your rectitude and virtues that you will be able to possess their country, but it is because of their wickedness that the Lord your God is dispossessing those nations before you, and in order to fulfill the oath that the Lord made to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Our commentary suggests that characterizing Israel as people chosen by God is not an assertion of superiority. It's an historical fact. God chose our people because even in their perfectly inhuman imperfection, our people could and would build a nation with love and reverence for God and God's words. Being chosen does not make us superior, but demands rather that we never forget. We never forget that we were created in God's image and that all our words and actions must come from knowing that we are living and walking in the light of God. We stray, and then we remember God's light and we return. We do stray, and sometimes our hearts ache as though they are deprived of the same blood that they miraculously are able to pump throughout our bodies. Our hearts ache with longing, and we forget that God is found in the darkness. We forget how to pray, or more to the point, we believe that we've forgotten. In those times, we might remember the Shema, God's love song. The second chapter of the Shema is a key passage in this week's Parsha. The people of Israel are reminded of the love and power inherent in performing mitzvot. This portion of the Shema is not a simple warning to obey or to be punished, but is rather an invitation to rise above selfish concerns and fear. The Shema is an invitation to join together in prayer. In her commentary, Communal Cohesion, Roberta Fried points out that the phrase, "and it will be if you will listen to my commandments," is pluralized. Observance of God's mitzvot, Fried writes, is achieved optimally when performed as a group. We elevate ourselves when we worship and when we seek tikkun olam as one people created in God's image and as one people walking in the light of God. We pray together, work together for a better world, and some of us sit or practice together. Earlier this month, we chanted Shivati Adonai Lenegdi Tamid. I set the eternal before me always. I admit that a few weeks ago I was troubled by this image and wondered what was God doing set before me when in that moment I just so happened to need God beside me. The rest of the phrase says, "Surely he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved." God is before me and at my side. Is this simply a reference to God's omnipotence, or does it speak to our relationship with God and with others, including strangers? We find God in the eyes of strangers. We find God in the stranger walking beside us, and we find a love that transcends immaturity or easy love. Martin Buber instructed that we are to model in all that we do the relationship that we seek with God. Rabbi Kari Olitsky writes that we do all that we do, irrespective of concern over reward and punishment. Love, therefore, your God, and always keep God's charge, God's laws, God's rules, and God's commandments. As any good and wise parent will tell you, we don't command obedience through fear or punishment, but rather through love. Rabbi Bradley Artson writes, there are two ways to understand the yirah, the fear that the Torah mentions. Later Jewish traditions, rabbinic, philosophical, and mystical, understood a lower, lesser fear to be the fear of God's punishments for not following the right path. Such a motivation, however compelling, was viewed with some disdain as not really worthy of the realm of faith and holiness. What the Zohar calls holy fear and what Rabbi Yosef Albo calls noble fear is not the fear of consequences. It is awe that emerges from the contemplation of God's incomparability, greatness, and magnificence. Yirah as marvel, wonder, awe. That is, for David Ibn Don, the awe of greatness, as opposed to a mere fear of harm. And if you do obey these rules and observe them carefully, the Lord your God will maintain faithfully for you the covenant that he made an oath with your fathers. He will favor you and bless you and multiply you. He will bless the issue of your womb and the produce of your soil, your new grain and wine and oil, the calving of your herd and the lambing of your flock in the land that he swore to your fathers to assign to you. Our commentary suggests that favor you and bless you is literally love you and bless you. Whether it is the case of God blessing the people or the people blessing God, Abraham Joshua Heschel writes that only a blessing that flows from love deserves to be called a blessing. We blessed the new month of Av 3 weeks ago. Rosh Chodesh for the month of Elul will begin 1 week from this Sunday. And so I ask you to consider what is still incomplete for you. What remains to be done in the days of Av? What is it that you seek? Perhaps you want to pray the Shema with more love and awe than you would have ever imagined possible. Perhaps you want to perform a mitzvah with untold selflessness, a heartfelt desire to help another person, and with the purest intention to elevate your own soul. No one needs to wait for the starting bell on change. We don't need to hear the sounds of the shofar before we awaken. We only need to listen. Shema Yisrael, and respond, Hineni, I am here. Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote that there is no reverence for God without reverence for man. Love of man is the way to the love of God. We have waited long enough. It is time to begin the change for which we have been waiting. It is time to love as though our collective souls depended upon it. I invite you to join me in blessing our journey into the high holy days with love, reverence, and awe. Cut away, therefore, the thickening about your hearts and stiffen your necks no more. Rabbi Gila Coleman Ruskin writes that this verse describes a spiritual circumcision, removing whatever barriers that interfere with the love and fearing of God. I suggest as well that when we stiffen our necks, we are unable to look into the eyes of God or of anyone who is beside us, always at our right hand. There is nothing to fear except for our reluctance and recalcitrance. In the presence of love, there is nothing to fear. Rabbi Alan Liu describes yirah as the fear that overcomes us when we suddenly find ourselves in possession of considerably more energy than we are used to, inhabiting a larger space than we are used to inhabiting. Together, let us seek yirah, a place of infinite possibility and in which we heal our broken hearts and return to the place in which we began. By Elliot Kukla writes that teshuvah, true repair, begins only when we acknowledge human relations on the life of this planet. We can do this. As God commanded, you too must befriend the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. As we sing on so many Friday nights, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, the world is built with kindness. Tara Mizraki suggests that building this world asks each of us to place a brick, remembering that God created our world with loving kindness. A world of kindness is not built or sustained by a single utterance, but rather, Ms. Meraki writes, good deed by good deed, prayer by prayer. I will build this world from love, and you must build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, God will build this world from love. Shabbat Shalom.
All right, y'all, you have your marching orders. Do I have to say anything now on Rosh Hashanah? It's so good. I invite you to turn with us to page 282 as we rise and conclude with Alinu. taking it upon ourselves.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
A reading not in your Sidurim and your prayer books. This song of mine will wind its music around you, my child, like the fond arms of love. The song of mine will touch your forehead like a kiss of blessing. When you are alone, it will sit by your side and whisper in your ear. When you are in the crowd, it will fence you about with aloofness. My song will be like a pair of wings to your dreams. It will transport your heart to the verge of the unknown. It will be like the faithful star overhead when dark night is over your road. My song will sit in the pupils of your eyes and will carry your sight into the heart of things. And when my voice is silenced in death, my song will speak in your living heart. Our thoughts turn now to all those we love who have departed, our own beloveds, those whom our friends and our neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives are a blessing. We mention by name Eddie Fisher, the brother-in-law of Harriet and Richard Eisen, who died in recent days. And we acknowledge the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the passings of Marcia Amata, Maury Bard, Edith Housefather Beanstalk, Sarah Branfeld, Roberta Marks Cohen, Frank Miller, Jane Rothman, Jody Sills, William Silverstein, James Tuttle, Stephen Wenham, Evelyn Ruth White, Charlotte Winner, Cecile Singer Wolf, Helen B. Zager. As well, we lovingly remember with all of those friends at home, all of those people they've named in the chat. And are there additional names to add in memory amongst the congregation? Jake. If you're here in mourning, I invite you to rise so that we might acknowledge your grief. And I invite the congregation to turn with you and rise and stand beside you on page 294 as we join together in Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei be'amlich malchutei, be'chaye chon u'b'yom echon u'b'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'b'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam L'Amei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shmei Dekudesha B'richu Le'elamin Kol Berchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen.
I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams pass before my eyes, a curiosity. Dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind. Same old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind.
Hi, I'm Sam Housefather, representing the Board of Trustees tonight for the very first time. So I'm new. Thank you. Rabbi, Seth, and Kim, thank you for the beautiful service tonight. Kevin Ring, we are grateful to your tech support, making our services possible for everyone who's present with us from home. Speaking of our tech team, Kevin is looking for a few dedicated volunteers to help him with production of our streaming services. Please see your email for details. A few announcements I want to share with you tonight. Please see your Tuesday email for a message from our president, Gaia Goldman, about our COVID policy, making plans with our medical advisory committee. It's a moving target, and we're trying to keep up with it. If you haven't yet renewed your fair share commitment, please do so this week. We want to have all commitments in and balances paid in time for registering everyone for the high holiday services. Starting next Friday, you no longer need to register for Shabbat services. Everyone will still need to follow the same protocols. Everyone 12 and over must be vaccinated, and kids under 12 must be masked. But you can just show up with your vaccination card and come to services whether you plan to or you decide to come at the spur of the moment. We welcome you.
With your vaccination.
With your card, yes.
Even if you've signed a breed, even if, you gotta just bring it every time.
Right.
On your phone.
Yeah, it's fine if it's on your phone, copy of your card, original card, whatever. Seth sent out the information for registering for religious school today. We do plan to have in-person religious school for kids age 3 through high school beginning this fall after the high holidays. Brotherhood Beer Fest will be this Thursday, August 5th at Hillman Brewery. First beer is on the Brotherhood. Check your email for RSVP information. Your Tuesday email has info about the Elevating a Little series with Billy Jonas. It will take place 4 consecutive Thursdays in August into September, ahead of the High Holy Days. Elevating Elul starts August 12th at 7 p.m. in person in the CBHT library. A heads up for those of you who plan to continue streaming on a regular basis at home. Our slides that are part of our streaming production will soon be going away. Sorry. If you'd like to follow along in a prayer book, there will be information in your weekly email about how to purchase a prayer book online or even a Kindle edition. Next week, Shabbat service will also be outside in this amphitheater, but at 6:30 for family services with Seth, weather permitting. If everyone here after services can help Kent this evening by putting your prayer books back on the cart and stacking the cushions on the stainless steel cart, we'd really appreciate it. And then I'd like to take an opportunity, we haven't had a chance to do this much. In fact, have we done it in a long time? A couple of times, good. Is to welcome new members and guests who are here tonight. So we do not have any portable microphones, no?
They want to just stand.
Just if we can ask you to stand and speak loudly and tell us your name, and if you're new to the area, where you came from, or if you're just visiting, where you're visiting from. So I don't think there's anyone here or here. New members or guests or visitors. Yes. Welcome.
Did you say Artie and Moira?
Yes. Great. Welcome. Yes. Well, welcome, and best wishes for him. Yes. Welcome. Anybody else? Oh. We're not a perfect congregation either, so. You've done it. All right. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hava Nashira, please stand. And we're going to move a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can't move too far from the microphones, but you're going to move and move.
It goes
through.
like this.
It's a step touch.
With soul.
Start this way, then this way. Come on, we want to see it like in unison. Yeah, nice. We got to get a good view. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah. Let us sing a song of praise to God.
Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Shira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Haba, Haba Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Haba, Haba Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. One more. Haba, Haba Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom to our
shalom.
friends at home. We love you. We miss you.